So
Gosh.
welcome to 44 and 1. It's my turn. Welcome to 44 and 1. We're back with another podcast with Tempest and GVizzle. Today, we are picking another one. The topics you have to choose from, sir, are the musical reversal, the porn painter, and vampire weekend.
I'm gonna kind of almost want to go for the porn painting after that brand new cherry flavor clip that's going viral on TikTok.
I haven't seen that one.
It wasn't that bad. It was really tame. Anyway,
Oh.
I was just like, all these people are disgusted and freaking out, and then I'm seeing it. I'm like, what's wrong with that? Anyway, I think
people are deeply disturbed by the word moist, and I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I don't get that. So, and you are choosing today?
Vampire Weekend, I think.
Okay. It's the evening before your wedding. Everything is going as planned. You are spending the afternoon with a few old friends, chatting casually about old times. Suddenly, your spouse-to-be bursts into the room, totally hysterical. Your spouse-to-be insists that she has just seen a vampire. When you ask what this means, they say, I was looking out the window of my hotel room and I could see into the apartment building across the street. That's when I saw the vampire. I saw a man in a black cape bite a woman's neck and drink her blood. I know this must sound crazy, but I am certain what I saw is real. Your prospective and sober spouse is in a state of panic and pleads with you to believe her story. You can tell this is really, really important to them. Knowing the fragility of the situation and the intensity of the timing, do you tell your potential spouse that you do in fact completely believe that she saw a vampire across the street? All of your old friends are watching this conversation.
Wow, that's quite heavy.
Your whole relationship, your whole marriage is on the line, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few things at stake here, isn't there? I mean, do you really think that if you're going to marry somebody, you're not going to find out about something like this until your wedding day, and then it's going to be suddenly revealed that she has...
They believe in vampires?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm talking about, I guess, like if they've just come in and said this. So some of the possibilities are is that she's having a psychotic break, or, you know, maybe she's just hit some meth before the wedding, you know. I say she because I'm straight, but
Sure.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, so because of all of those kinds of reasons, I think that I would surely know about those things going into the wedding. And so if she's coming out telling me there's a vampire, it's at least got to be investigated.
Yeah, like, I don't understand. Like, if anyone were to say to me, I think I just saw a vampire, I saw a man bite a woman's neck, I would like, show me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rely, just not because I wouldn't rely on their words. I too would want to see this go down. Because, like, what if it could be a legitimate vampire. We don't know. Although it does say afternoon, so said vampire should be napping. But it could be like some weird kink.
Yeah, exactly.
Vampire fetish,
which
could be in a
exists.
number of things. It could be in a number of things. So I, sight unseen, not that I don't believe them, I would just want to see for myself.
Yeah, totally. I'd be like, well, let's go see this. Let's apprehend this vampire. Citizen's arrest.
Garlic, check.
Yeah.
Pointy steak, check.
Well, chances are, like, unless you're having a civil union or something, you're going to be in a church, right? So you got the cross.
Well, it does say hotel. It does say you're in a hotel. It's the night before, so you're not in the church yet. And that's presuming you're getting married in a Christian church.
That's true. That's true.
I got married outside. I had a secular.
You had a succulent ceremony.
Succular, because it's a vampire with secular.
Yeah. Are you the vampire? Is that what you're telling me?
I really wanted to be when I was a kid. If you had asked me when I was 8 years old what I wanted to be when I grew up, it was a vampire.
But the thing is, we grew up in the age of cool vampires.
Yeah, we totally did. Not like, I mean, I haven't
Edward.
seen Twilight, so I'm not really one to shit talk it. Although from what I've seen,
Mm.
that's not right.
I've
I grew
seen.
up in like a Fright Night, Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yeah.
vampire.
Yeah, I used to read the Christopher Pike novels, like The Last Vampire, I think it was called.
Oh,
And
I
she could
read
go out.
those.
Yeah, she could go out in the daytime. She was just weaker, but she could actually go
That's a
out.
scary vampire.
Yeah,
But
and
I think I'd be less frightened of a vampire than I would like if someone burst into the room and said I saw a werewolf. Like that, I would be more afraid of than
yeah,
a vampire.
because at least with a vampire, there is some kind of plausibility there in the sense that it could be a human with a kink or a fetish.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a werewolf, it could be a furry.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, yeah.
You just never know. I don't know that the costume would be as believable, but it could
Wait,
be.
if you're in a hotel, it could be anything. So it could be somebody with a good costume, and
Yeah, it could be like an Anne Rice convention that's
yeah,
happening.
yeah, exactly.
Although Black Cape was like old school.
Nosferatu type.
Yeah, I can't imagine a modern day vampire would still. I mean, capes are just very impractical. I don't know that they would still do that.
I've seen The Incredibles. Yeah.
Superman can pull it off. Maybe Batman, but no, I would definitely want to investigate. How far would you investigate? Would you just like go to the hotel room she was in so you could see what she saw, or would you actually like go to the apartment building across the street and try to get in there?
I think first of all, trying to put myself in the situation, thinking a bit abstractly, I'd probably say, all right, take me to where you saw it. And then as we're on the way to that location, I would ask her questions about it. Like, how long was it there? Did you get a proper look at it? What did it look like and all that? And just try and listen to the kind of details that she's given me just to
I'm
see.
interested as to how much she could potentially, or he, in my case, could have potentially have seen. Because if it's an apartment building across the street and like a small window in an apartment building, how much could be seen? I mean, when we first moved into our very first condo, we didn't have cable for like 3 weeks. So I bought binoculars to.
That's when the people started.
I come by it honestly. To people don't do anything; they just watch TV. But I mean, from across the street, you wouldn't be able to see that level of detail in a window. So I think we've just learned that our prospective spouses are also peepers because there has to be some sort of visual enhancement by not binoculars involved. At the very least, a monocle.
Yeah, and monocles are very stylish, and I think they're underrated. Yeah.
Not a lot of cause for it, though.
No, but there is in Britain. I mean, if you've got an English accent, you can wear a monocle, right? You can pull that off.
And a top hat.
Oh, jolly good show, old chap. What?
You like Mr. Peanut? Yeah.
Yeah.
If I only needed prescription lenses in one eye, I would go for a monocle.
Yeah, totally. Just
Yeah.
for the snazziness of it, the unusualness.
I think it would also be like just hanging on your neck, and then whenever I don't have an actual something I could use as a monocle, but just like
Just break one of your glasses in half. For a second there, you look like you're going to do it.
I thought I have enough pairs that I probably could.
Yeah. But yeah,
so with the sorry, go ahead.
Go back to the thing about the distance, right? So Britain, we're a lot more congested. So you've probably got like those big boardwalk type places, and then you're dozens of meters to the other place across the street. But to us, like you can look out the window and then people are there. I mean, I knew someone once who lived in Cambridge, and she's saying that like on like the second floor of a house is where her office was. She'd do her work. She'd look out a window, and then there'd be the double-decker bus right outside her window.
Oh wow!
Stuck in traffic, and there's people there watching her do her work. So
we do have a bit more distance. I mean, I'm sure if I was looking into my neighbor's house, I could probably see them. But then everything would have to be right. The lighting would have to be right. My curtains would have to be open. Their curtains would have to be open. You'd think a vampire at the very least would draw a shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it's not direct sunlight, you might be all right.
That's true. Would the presence of your friends make any difference? Like it specifically asks, like your old friends are there. Would it matter if your friends are there, or if it was family, or if you were alone, or if they were new friends or old friends, would other people make any difference in this scenario?
Not to me, no, because the most important person there is my spouse. So fuck what anyone else thinks.
Good answer.
So like no one else would really be my concern, because if somebody, I guess speaking a little bit more seriously, if somebody came to you with a claim like that, right, that's quite a fucking big claim. So either vampires really exist, or your partner's doing drugs, or she's having a psychotic break, or somebody's getting assaulted. So
Every situation bears investigation.
yeah, exactly.
That's very true.
Some are more
So-
funny than others.
So what if you got there and
Hmm.
somehow they were still in the window? What would you do if you still saw them and it was like confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay, both questions. It's confirmed that yes, it is a vampire. What do you do next? Or you get there and it's just like a kinky thing. Or you get there and there's like lights are off, nobody's there. There's multiple questions.
That's fine. I think that monologue time then. No, I think that if I got there and the lights were off and no one's there, my partner would get the benefit of the doubt that she saw something, but we would have to agree probably, or find a way of agreeing and compromising, that we don't really know what she saw, and we can go investigate it further if she wants to, but
what would that look like though? Because it's not like it's an apartment building, so you can't walk in there and say, I'm here to go to apartment 6B. Like you would have to probably call the police. Would you tell them someone was being assaulted or someone got attacked by a vampire?
I would go with the more realistic answer thing, because could you imagine? We've seen all those films. Help, I'm being attacked by flesh-eating vampire zombie bats, and then the police laugh.
Sure you are. Sure you are.
Yeah, see you later, mate. I mean, that was in All of Us Are Dead, I think. They said
I've seen that.
it's on Netflix, Korean show. It's a zombie film series. It's new and it's amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah,
I don't have to because I have a recording.
Yeah. It's here now forever.
Did you see there was a British series? I think it was just a mini series. It was maybe 5 or 6 episodes, and it was.
See, I knew what you were going to say before you even explained it.
For anybody who doesn't know, it was like a Big Brother house, and a zombie breakout or apocalypse happens, but they have no idea because they're stuck in this Big Brother house. It was brilliant.
And they're all like completely useless people as well.
Oh, of course they are. Of course.
Yeah. Oh, that is a genuinely good zombie show.
Oh,
but that
sad it was only a few episodes.
Yeah. But it shows you those situations like that are so unusual, but it's an example that it bears investigating just in case.
It's true. You never know. And because if there's, like, I imagine vampires would be like cockroaches. If there's one, there's got to be a whole bunch of others.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a whole coven. So, and the kind of thing is that, so you get there and there's no one there, then fine, whatever, get on with your day. But you can still ask, like, you can ask the hotel staff, like, what's that building across the street? It looks a bit weird. You could strike up a conversation. You could do your own investigation just to kind of establish what is this building. If somebody says, oh, it's a drug den, then you're like, whoa, something dodgy was definitely going on there.
Would there be any concern? Because if your partner saw the vampire,
yeah.
what if they, because I don't know if you've seen Fright Night, but
No.
when this happens, okay, so it's a great movie. Not the remake, watch the original. But there's a scene that's very much like this, and it's Marcy from Married with Children. I don't know if you watched that show, but she is this young girl. She gets bit by a vampire. Guy across the street is watching the whole thing go down. And then, as the bite is taking place, vampire looks up, sees a guy across the street. Would there be a concern if the vampire saw your partner see them? You could be next.
Yeah, that is particularly if they get your scent or whatever it is that vampires do to find you.
If they saw you, it's the middle of the
Yeah,
afternoon,
yeah, yeah,
bright day, curtains are open, sees your
yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah. And you might be able to. Well, the thing is, though, like, how would he track you down? I'm assuming that he's going to have some
You're across
supernatural
the
power.
street, just across the street. You're getting married, presumably not far from the hotel.
You have to change hotel room then, won't you?
At the very least. At the
Just
very least.
maybe make a mess, and you can make it really disgusting, and just go, "Oh, somebody's trashed my hotel room. It wasn't me."
It wasn't me. Who
Yeah,
else could it have been? It's there.
my mates are here. They're a bunch of twats.
Ghosts.
Yeah,
Ghosts.
the vampire did it. What vampire? But yeah, I think. What would you do though if your husband was acting like that, and you're getting remarried, you're going to renew your vows, and then all of a sudden, you've gone for 20 odd years, he's coming out with this shit.
I would take it very, very seriously, because my husband is not one to, like, if he were to say there was a vampire, there is a vampire. Like, he's very pragmatic and logical and rational. He would, like, if he wasn't 100% sure, he'd be like, I think I saw, or it looked like. If he's like, there's a fucking vampire across the street, I'm like, get the crucifix, follow me.
Yeah.
I watched 7 seasons of Buffy. I know what to do.
Yeah, I know how to kick vampires in the face. It's quite funny because he's like, the way you describe him, it sounds a lot like I would describe Joanna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just quite very much the same like that. That if she said something like that, I'd have to believe her.
Yeah, like if I said there's a vampire across the street, I don't know that he would take me as serious.
Exactly. You're just being dumb again.
Prone to fits of whimsy, and
Yeah.
Gozer's crying.
Oh, bless him. Do you want to let him out?
What are you doing, buddy?
Oh, look at him. Little
He can hear
face.
his girlfriend's outside. He can hear her. I give it 5 minutes and he's busting in that door.
Yeah. You'd hear another van outside.
No, his girlfriend's outside. He loves her. He lives.
What is Zuul or a local dog?
Zuul's we call him Zuul's sister. Our neighbors have a dog, and she's the same age as Gozer is, so they started playing with each other when they were super young. So now, whenever they're outside together, she's actually, we have a chain link fence that separates our houses, and she fucking clever assholes. So because when they were small puppies, they could get underneath the chain link fence, we got like these long sticks, or like not branches. They had a tree taken down, so like all this firewood I had like piled up underneath the fence so they couldn't get under. So one day I look over and Gozer is on our side of the fence doing this to the wood, and she is on her side of the fence doing this.
What?
In fucking hoots. They're in cahoots. And then they finally get it out of the way enough. Gozer rolls. And then she snuck under the fence. She was in her backyard. And Zuul does not care for her. So it was like a Benny Hill shit show.
That's amazing. If you ever see that again, you need to get that on tape, because
absolutely.
Well, because researchers don't think these animals can work together like that.
Oh, it's ridiculous the way that they're in cahoots. Yeah. And the two of them together, they're like children. If I'm outside and like the neighbor is outside at the same time, the two dogs will like head toward the gate and then look at me. It's usually me. They look at me like they're looking for permission.
Yeah, can I go play?
And then like, yeah, open up the gate, Gozer runs over.
They're like kids.
They are. They're like, Gozer, come over and play.
Yeah. Okay, what if Gozer came up to you one day and you're like, vampire?
I would not put it past him. Like, I'm still not convinced he's not a man in a dog suit. He figured out how to open our back door. We have a French door, and he figured out how to open it. So he lets himself in whenever he wants. And he almost figured out how to open up the front door. It's a storm door. He almost figured that out. There was something else quite clever. Can't remember what it was. But yeah, no, he's evolving. If he ever develops thumbs, I'm fucked.
Yeah, this is final form.
And I don't think he would be very helpful against a vampire. Zuul would be.
Okay.
Zuul has she's got a king size attitude and a court jester body. She's vicious. She's attempted murder twice.
Really?
I know this is going way off the rails here, but yeah, Zuul has attempted murder twice. she was a puppy. She was like the most fearful dog I'd ever met. Like it took us 2 weeks to get her to walk out of our front door. She could not comfortably walk past a fire hydrant for 6 months. She was just very nervous, very on edge, and afraid of other dogs. So the first time she comfortably walked out of our front door, she is 7 years old. She walks out of our front door twice a day, every day for 7 years. And every time she walks out the front door, she leaves like this.
Oh, that's adorable.
She kills me. But then, so the very first dog she met was this older man walking 2 Shih Tzu sized dogs. Zuul at the time was like 12, 13 pounds. She's around the same size. So she goes over to say hello, asks the guy, can they meet? He said, yep. Zuul gets close, and one of the dogs just goes after Zuul, tries to attack her.
Shit.
And like Zuul wasn't hurt, but she does not suffer fools lightly. So she has not that fool me once, shame on you. She's like, fool me once, I'll fucking kill you.
That's a good attitude for an animal to have, I think.
From that day forward, every single time she saw them, she would go ballistic. One day we were walking, and all of a sudden, her whole body language and demeanor changed. Like her hackles were up, neck is down, she's sniffing the ground, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? They were 200 feet ahead of us. The smell of them was enough to set her off. So one day, I'm walking, and I see them. They turn the corner. Zuul sees them. I grab on her leash to keep her tight. The leash snaps. So I'm standing there, fucking half a leash in my hands. The other half is trailing behind her.
Yeah.
And she runs across the street, grabs the dog, starts shaking the dog. So I've got to like get to, and then if you've ever tried to like stop a dog fight, it's like they turn to mist. I can't fucking get her.
Yeah.
I get her off with the dog. The other dog's like has a bite. So rush the dog to the vet, get everything taken care of. Everything was fine. But then the owners, we found out where they live. Where they live, so our house, if we leave right and go around, we bump into them. If we leave left and go around, we bump into them. Like there's nowhere for us to go except up. We can't do that. If they left their house, like they used to leave their house and go left. So they would always be on our route. If they left their house and went right, we would never see them again.
Yeah.
So we try to talk to them about what time do you go for walks so we can avoid being outside at the same time. Like we don't want this to happen again.
Sensible.
And like, yeah, we usually walk them at this time. And they were like, well, you know, sometimes 7, sometimes 8, sometimes 9. So not accommodating at all. We're like, okay, well, would you consider changing your route? Because we can't change ours. Like there's no other way for us to go.
Yeah.
No. So I'm like, okay.
What?
Yeah, like they were completely, and like, they were just completely unreasonable with the whole thing. Like we tried to figure out accommodation. And then when we finally got them to like hammer down, if the husband walked the dogs, he walked them between, I think it was like 7 and 7:30. Like that was the walking route. If the wife walked the dogs, she would walk them between 9 and 9:30. Perfect. This is on the weekends. We always saw them. I'll go for a walk at 8, avoid everybody. I saw them every week. They were constantly changing their time. Constantly. And they would walk right past her house. They could hear Zuul almost banging out the window to get to them. They would walk past her house every day. We tried talking to them. Then there's another day. I was leaving the house with Zuul, and it was like 8:30. So again, I shouldn't see either of them. I look outside, I'm pulling the Zuul, look it up, don't see them. So as like I've got her leash, but I'm loosely holding onto it because I don't see anybody else. I turn to close the door. Fuck. They were across the street, but there was like a van parked there. So when I looked, they just happened to be behind a van. So as I was closing the door, they came out from behind the van. Zuul sees them. Try and goes for it. So she gets the little one. But as part of our accommodation to them was like, whenever we are out, we'll put a muzzle on Zuul. So she still got a chunk. Yeah, she's wearing a muzzle. So then we try again, like take the dog to the vet. We'll take care of it. And now we're like, please, please just work with us here.
Yeah.
Nope. And then like their house went up for sale a month later, and I almost threw a block party. Like I was never happy never happier to see people move.
Don't you just wonder about some people? Maybe they were vampires because they just obviously don't care. They don't care about their dog.
No, that's the thing. Like I get that I have to keep Zuul close, right? But I mean, the leash broke the first time.
Yes,
This is just a fluke thing. The second time, I mean, I held on to her a little bit closer, but I didn't see a need to. So I get that I have a role in this. There was accountability on our part. But like, if I went for a walk every day, if I left my house and turned right at the end of my driveway, and 3 houses down, I had a neighbor who was just yelling obscenities at me.
Yeah.
I would probably start turning left, right? Like,
yeah, you just would avoid the danger.
Yeah.
It's a normal human thing.
I would, like, they're putting their dog safety in my hands, and she's got an itchy trigger finger. I don't know. Even now, they've been gone for like a year, and if she sees a dog that looks like them, she starts to get amped up until she does, and then like she smells them, and she's like, all right.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're not that one. You're not my nemesis.
So I think if Zuul caught a whiff of that vampire to try to bring it back,
Zuul will protect you. She'd have your back.
She would. If I trip and fall, she bolts. But if I was being attacked, if I was in danger, she'd be okay. I think Gozer would too. I didn't give enough credit. It would too.
I got chased by a dog once because I tripped over. I was a little kid, and it was my mate's birthday party. I was like about 8, 9 years old, and I was a bit scared of dogs at the time, just because they were really unpredictable, and I didn't know what to do about them. But yes, pretty normal. And they had this little Yorkie type dog. Anyway, I was running through the house, tripped over the fucking door jamb, went flying, landed flat on my face, and the dog just bolts around the corner, barking at me and chases me out of the house, and I wouldn't go back in afterwards. I was like, no, I'm staying out here. Fuck the party.
He was a Yorkie.
Yeah.
You know what though? I used to take Zuul to the dog park every day, and the scariest dog in that dog park was like a 6-pound Chihuahua.
Oh yeah.
The thing was a menace. It bit every single person in the dog park. It went after every dog, but nobody did anything. It was like, oh, it's small, it's cute, it's got tiny teeth.
It still hurts.
It still hurts, and if it was a size like Gozer, they'd be living in a shed and like giving the dog in front of the house.
I got well, I used to be a postman for a bit, and I once put some letters through the letterbox, and then there's a ninja dog the other side of the door. Didn't know you was there, made no noise. And then as I put my hand through, because it had like those stupid brushes on the letterbox, and you have to really force the letters through. So my fingers were in it. Next thing I know, this little snout pokes out the letterbox. No noise, nothing. Just this snout comes out, and then he bit me on my little finger. It's the worst, most pointless dog bite ever. Yeah, that was so not the epic tale of Zuul. It's, you know, oh, I got bit on the little finger. Zuul attempted murder.
Twice.
Right. Yeah.
Which was like, it was a fair fight the first time they met because they were all the same size.
Yeah.
But when Zuul finally got a hold of them, she like outweighed them. But
like, it's the attitude.
Bigger than they were. But it killed me. Like, it was shocking how attuned she was to their smell, because there was one day I saw them up the street. So like I got Zuul to sit behind a parked car so she couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And I was going to wait until they turned a corner so we could proceed. But then like the wind would change and she would get a whiff of them and go bananas. And then the wind would change again and then she would just sit very so chill. But like she's such a nervous dog. Like when people meet her, she's the sweetest thing. With other dogs, she's because of that situation, she's a bit more on edge, but like puppy, she's amazing. She's better with male dogs than she is female dogs, but we know she's just the sweetest thing ever. And then when she sees those two or saw those two, it was like Jekyll and Hyde. It was immediate. Like there was one day I saw this woman on the street and she loved this woman. Whenever she saw her, she would freak out. So like Zuul is like looking at her, trying to get love and like getting right in there. And then she looked across the street and saw her nemesis and went nuts. And then immediately was like, hey, friend. And like, the woman was like, I would not, she said, I know you've told me that happens. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have believed it if I didn't see it myself. Crazy.
Like two personalities.
Oh, but if you see, she's afraid of her own farts. But if she's
fuck, what was that?
she does. She farted last night on the sofa. She jumped off and she looked at me like I'm the ass.
Yeah, Mom, what did you just do? That stinks.
Yeah, she's afraid of everything. But no, those two dogs.
That's hilarious. Is there a reason why she might be afraid of things, or is it just like a genetic thing?
I don't know. I think it may be a genetic thing. When we first brought her home, we started to see how nervous she was.
Mm.
And so it just so happened that when she was like 3 months old when we brought her home, about a month later, we were watching this documentary and they were, so in the documentary, they had a litter of German Shepherd puppies and they were trying to assess their readiness to be, or their aptitude to be police dogs. So they did all these little tests with them, like even before they opened their eyes. So they would take the puppy and kind of turn it upside down. And I think it was a litter of 6 or 7. Let's say it was 7. 6 of them, super chill, didn't care that they were upside down. The 7th one was like mewling and uncomfortable and they didn't want to do it. So then they did another test where they put puppies in front of a fan. The same 6 sat there and took it.
Love it.
That last one was trying to get away from the fan. And at the end of it, they just said, you know, it's just, this one doesn't have the aptitude or the personality to be a police dog. They'll be a house dog. So
Yeah,
that's fine. So that at that moment we were like, okay, so maybe it could just be just how she's wired, and that's it. And we tried to desensitize her to things, and we tried to, you know, make sure she was exposed to different things, and it just, yeah. To this day, if I'm in the kitchen and I drop a fork, I won't see her for the rest of the night.
Oh,
She'll take. I know. We were watching the original Star Wars or Star Trek movies.
Cool.
And in the very first movie, when the Enterprise goes into warp for the first time, and it's like this, you know, bright blue light and the sound, she sailed. She was like sitting right beside me, sailed over me, over my husband to get out of the room.
Wow.
She was gone for the rest of the night. If I watched The Walking Dead, there was one episode where like Daryl is running toward the camera. Out, she's gone.
He's running at me. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. She doesn't like things with wheels. Like
no wheels.
She's barked at so many babies, baby carriages, bikes, rollerblades, wagons. She's such a cliche too, because she barks at every mail truck. And then there's Gozer. Gozer is suspicious of clouds. He's walking and he sees clouds.
Well, the clouds are dodgy though, you know.
It's true. They make shapes. That's not right.
It isn't. They could be anything.
They could be. And he also doesn't like roofers. There's a special place in hell, in Gozer's hell, for roofers. The sound of nails.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's again, that's something that's not right. Humans don't go on roofs. Humans go in the building.
Yeah, he doesn't trust it. And thunder. I had to even the smallest rumble of thunder. And when he gets nervous, he just starts hauling ass home. And he's 90 pounds of get me the fuck out of here. And like I was straddling him, holding on to his like, it's okay, buddy, it's okay. And he's gonna take me off my feet. We were probably 200 feet away from home, and I didn't see anybody, middle of a thunderstorm. So I just like, all right, I'll meet you at home. And he
see you in 10 minutes.
Me at the porch. He's waiting for me at the porch, and I got
let me in, I need to hide. I want my blankie.
Ridiculous animals. Cats are so much more predictable.
Well, you say that. Padme nearly got chomped by a fox once. Yeah, we used to live in like this cottage in the middle of some fields, right? And Padme used to like exploring around the fields. And then I was sitting in the living room just doing my work, as I do. And next thing I hear is a ruff. I was like, what the fuck was that? So I ran outside because I knew about the fox and that. And then as I get outside, Padme bombs it past me. I've never seen her run so fast in my life. Straight up a tree, and hot on her heels is a mother fox, a vixen, chasing her, and then she trees Padme. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
And it's basically because the vixen had cubs, and Padme wanted to go sniff them.
Oh,
And she got a bit curious of these little fluffy things, and got a bit too close, and the vixen got protective. And Padme's adrenaline kicked in.
We have coyotes around us.
Oh yeah.
So Zuul and I have had a couple of coyote encounters, but like luckily, if there's only the one, you make enough noise, and they take off. But there was one night we were doing some work in our backyard, so I couldn't let her outside for her bedtime pee. So it was probably like 10 o'clock at night. I look outside, I don't see anybody, so I'm just gonna let her out for a pee. Like she would go for a pee, come back into the house. Yeah, do her business, come back in. All of a sudden, she is hauling ass down the street, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm in slippers. Like, oh my God. She's chasing a coyote. And she got about 100 feet away, and then she turned around and she walked back like she had single-handedly saved the neighborhood.
Yeah.
She's like, see that shit? I did that. I saved your ass.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what they think.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's what they think. Like when they see a truck outside and they bark.
Yeah.
If at the end of it they're like, yeah, we did it. Nobody got murdered today.
Yeah. My family's alive because of me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
You're
fed
welcome.
tonight.
You're welcome, everybody.
I've secured my food. When I went to Saskatchewan, I got to go on a stand on a frozen lake for the first time in my life. It was really cool. But there was like these skidoos in the distance, just going, they're like a couple of about a mile or two away or whatever. And there's this little dog, like a dachshund or something, and it just bolts after the snowmobiles, just chases after them across this frozen lake as fast as it can go.
Safe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why are you doing that? And yeah, she comes back like 20 minutes later, exhausted. Yeah, you can't catch them, can you? What made you think you could get them?
Zuul's the same way. Every time she sees like a FedEx truck, she goes nuts. And I was like, I applaud your confidence, but you don't win that fight.
Yeah, the FedEx truck kind of has that one.
Yeah, yeah, it weighs you by a bit.
I fucking love animals though. Like just seeing all those behaviors and how similar, like particularly with mammals, how similar they are to us. I mean, you know, the amount of people you see chasing FedEx trucks, you know, and chasing coyotes down the street. Yeah, see all the time.
It's interesting to see like their personalities. Like Zuul has very specific dogs, and there's a very like I walk them separately. And so there was one day we were walking, and there was a woman across the street. She was walking like a golden doodle, and
what's one of them?
Look fine. It's like a cross between a. It looks like a shag carpet. It's like a cross between it's a golden retriever or a golden golden retriever and a poodle. So
okay.
And yeah, they're cute. But we see this golden doodle that we've never seen before, and Gozer is just like,
what's that?
Like, yeah, but he's getting like riled up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Does he owe you money? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. He owes me treats.
2 days later, I'm with Zuul. We see the same dog, and Zuul has the same reaction. So, and like that's happened a few times where like I'll see a dog, Gozer doesn't like that dog. A week later, in a completely different location, as the same dog, and Zuul doesn't like that dog either. Like I don't know if they compare notes when I bring them home. Like
yeah, maybe it's because these dogs are actually things like vampires and all that in disguise, because they can animorph, whatever it's called.
They can sense it.
Yeah, and so maybe actually vampires are real, and we should have trusted our spouses. And you know,
we did trust our spouses.
Oh, we did, yeah. That's a
good point.
So we're good people.
We are good people.
That's
partners. We should tell our partners that we're good partners.
I think we should. I'm not sure Anna will believe me, but she'll have a few things to say about that.
After our last podcast, so I asked my husband about the stereotypical Jesus and what he would do.
Yeah.
And then I said, like, I'm pretty sure I know what you would do. Like I said as much on the podcast. He's like, oh, you did. I was like, yeah, I presumed. It's like, that was very presumptuous of you. I thought was clever. I thought was clever. But as soon as I didn't even read him the card. I was halfway through the story. He's like, yeah, other place, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. It was the same.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I went off and asked her the same thing as well.
I'll do the same today.
If I came to
I'll
you
do the
and
same
said them,
today. If there are vampires, do you think they would be just like regular, not able to morph into anything vampires, or do you think that they would be like be able to turn into a bat?
I'll tell you what, if vampires are real, I'm not having any expectations on anything else ever again. I'm just going to let the world do what the world does.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that dogs aren't a superior alien race.
Yeah, they could be.
Come to this planet to make us their butlers.
Well, I think something similar about cats, because cats basically just wandered out of the desert one day in Assyria, thousands of years ago, about 15,000 years ago. And they eventually, when we developed agriculture, they became part of agricultural life. And cats joined Scandinavians when they went Viking. And that's how cats got dispersed all around Europe. Yeah. And so there's loads of weird stuff. And so I think that, jokingly, obviously, that this isn't a real theory of mine for anyone listening, that cats actually are controlling the human race. And the only reason why we have any advancement or any society is because it's to get them food. Agriculture was invented so that rodents would congregate in that area, and then cats would have a sustainable food source.
I would believe that.
Yeah.
There's not much I wouldn't, actually.
I have to make
enough evidence.
Yeah.
With enough credible evidence.
I think we should play a game at some point where I'll come up with 3 psychology facts, but only one of them's true, and you have to guess which one it is.
Is it 2 truths and a lie?
Yeah. But I'll do 2 lies and a truth.
Okay, I'm down for that. When I used to train people, I would do that game as like an icebreaker. And people would be like, oh, I like bungee jumping, I like this, like that. We just a little getting to know you game. But then there's one guy who we play the game and we're all trying to guess which one is the lie. And then at the end, he's like, no, they're all true. We said, good, but like, did you not understand the game? He said, no, I did. I just don't lie.
What?
You're gonna be fun.
Jesus.
Yeah, he refused to lie.
I've met that guy. I swear, the same guy at a house party once when I was working at a university. And it was quite a posh university for posh people. And so it was with a lot of PhD students. And we were all playing like these stupid games, like murder or werewolf, whatever it's called. And, where everyone's villagers and one of you's the murderer and all that shit. Anyway, all having a good laugh. But then this one guy, he's only there because he was there with his girlfriend who was friends with the rest of us. And then I said to him, like, oh, why don't you join in? And he goes, I only play chess. That's the only game I play.
You're so smart.
I know. Aren't you so much fucking fun? Jesus Christ.
I was
Go on, do it. Say it. Say it. We can cut it out if it's bad.
The pomposity of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I only play chess. Like,
yeah, exactly. That was kind of the look on everyone's faces, was just like, even though like everyone there's a PhD student, and so it's like you're with the same kind of personality types.
Yeah, like you're trying to convince us how smart you are.
Yeah.
That you can't loosen up and just have a good time.
Exactly.
He lacks imagination. This is going to be an interesting one to watch because we went from vampires to like my dog's a sociopath.
Yeah. You have to say your piece at the end now.
Fade to black.
There we go.